welcome back to Pro and Noob for Cowboy Bebop. We're doing 14, 15, 16.
Yes.
Today. I think we might have to change the last 4 episodes and split it into 2. And do 2 and 2. I was looking there and I forgot something happened. And I was like, 2 and 2.
Okay.
Also makes it a nice even 10, I think, for the whole thing. So, yes. Mitch 692, Jarod.
Hello.
Do the things.
By the time you're seeing this, I'll be on the road back from Kentucky.
He will be, yeah. Because it's our Star Wars celebration.
Yeah, Star Wars celebration.
Go check out T-Nap's coverage of celebration.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, you're keeping up with it already. But if you wanna news,
it'll be over by the time this comes out.
Yeah, but you can go back and watch it if you want to get 3 quickie news roundups to get you caught up.
You want your recaps.
And stay tuned for a full episode discussing all of the news.
Yes. So, right. How are we feeling about Chessmaster Hex, Jarod?
Fun episode. It was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie, it felt like it kind of went nowhere a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
So walk me through the hyperspace gates, because a calamity has been the highways. They've been some type of calamity has been referenced and addressed here and there.
I want to say this is the thing that happened that turned Matey Boy into a perpetual kid.
What was that?
The one where he's a child.
Yeah. I remember that.
The same thing. Yeah.
But what was it? Did a gate malfunction? Did it collapse in on itself? Because there's been multiple times where it's been Earth was fucked up by this event, and then we had this person who's ability to age gobbledygooked into them. They're a kid for forever. And now we have this crooked company that knew something was wrong, but somehow profited from it. I don't know. It's one of those instances where to make a Star Wars comparison.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Fuck off. It's it's very much the whole, he fought in the Clone Wars, and in the OT and in early EU, the Clone Wars was just a thing that happened that we will reference as a historical event, but we're really not going to get into the details of, because we don't know, and it's just kind of a thing that happened that is going to color, the historiography here.
Unless I'm forgetting something, I'm pretty certain that's what they're doing. I can't remember anything that goes into more detail about it. But.
Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, it was interesting. I don't know. It was fun. It was just kind of weird that it was it felt like it was teeing up something a really compelling conspiracy for it to end the way that it did. And not to do a whole I like Rian Johnson. I like the Benoit Blanc movies. Sometime the big reveal is that there was nothing at all.
Yeah.
One could say that there's no fucking baby. I'm down for there being no fucking baby. I just felt a little oh, okay, cool. This was a long game, and he's living in this, very in the boho whatever, and okay, whatever. I said not a whole lot to write home about. I was kind of shocked that the big ending to the episode was, how much do we have to pay you to keep this information secret that we knowingly endangered the lives of billions? And Jet's just just leave the guy alone. And then he immediately passes away. And there's a beauty to that. There's a beauty to this guy's life. What became this guy's life's mission was fulfilled. and then he got to pass on. There's a beauty to that I'm not going to say isn't there. It's just like it was a weird character choice because I have not gotten the vibe from anybody but Jet a little bit that anybody on this crew would take anything less than a Pyrrhic, or just take anything but a Pyrrhic victory as payment. You know, and that felt weird. Like, I wish there was a moment where they all agreed to it. Like, that would have been a big character beat for everybody to go, you know what, this is enough. And that maybe be a first big moment for the characters to go, it's enough for us to know this guy got his. But it's limited to just Jet. And, you know, I feel like he is the character that I need development from the least right now. Like, obviously, I'm also coming off of, you know, Black Dog, whatever was the third episode.
Serenade? Was it Serenade?
Yeah, Black Dog Serenade. Yeah, which great title. But like even before that, I was like, okay, Jet is willing to kind of like Robin Hood and A-Team this shit. Jet and Faye are still very much in their like Han Solo, Boba Fett eras, where it's like, I need money to do the right thing. I need to be baited into doing the right thing by cold hard credits. And that really wasn't something I needed from Jet, and him getting to make that decision unilaterally and not rub it onto everybody else. You know, again, not a bad episode. It was fun. A lot of great character beats, but
I get you. Okay. I like it just purely for the fact that this show does it a lot of the time, and I think half the time is the point. You're just in this world, you're just living the day to day.
No, for sure.
You get mundane. Well, it's not that it's mundane, right? But you get those times where it's like, it's kind of just a tragic tale for this old man. He doesn't get he gets the revenge. He doesn't know he gets the revenge.
Sure. I guess for me, like, the mundane missions, how do I put this? I feel like I got a lot of the mundane missions early on in our like second and third batches of episodes. And the thing that I think sets us apart from a mundane mission from like a more pointed plot driven episode, that like there are all these weird X factors. It's not we're just on the hunt for a bounty. This isn't like the pilot episode where there's a guy with a bounty who has a thing, who's doing a thing, and we have to stop him and bring him in. Like I said, it ends on this like moralistic beat with this wild twist in the middle. And it just felt like I just wish more people had to grapple with the reality of the situation. Aside from just, he's old and doesn't remember. And then again, it's because I think part of me is it's only Jet who makes this decision. I would have liked to have seen debate and deliberation on, you know, there's nothing to be made here and we can't sell this guy out. Not to say it's a bad episode, and not to say that like I don't enjoy like episodes like this, because I have. I just wish that like they had taken the chance and the opportunity to kind of like live with like more character decisions with such a complicated dilemma here.
That's fair. That's totally fair. It's totally fair. Now.
Goddamn.
My Funny Valentine.
Absolutely tragic. My God. My God. My socks off, knocked completely. This was beautiful. You know, with a show that so far has been, again, it has forced Jet to confront the past, and it will do so again. It has forced Spike and Faye to look in the mirror, and both of them have run away for the most part, or at the very least, Faye is willing to meditate on such matters, and it kind of leaves her catatonic at times. Mm-hmm. Again, I come back to the way that she just is on autopilot and is drifting after, just the mere acknowledgement of what this Julia person must have done to Spike has left her reeling. And again, Spike at every turn has gone, oh, hey, that's uncomfortable. I'm either going to run from it or I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah.
And this was, and I so am looking forward to Spike getting this treatment. I truly hope it happens. It was compelling to just get a full, unfiltered, just straight farm to table Faye Valentine origins.
Well, it's a Faye Valentine origin, sure. It's not her origin, I guess.
What do you mean?
Oh, Faye Valentine's not a real name, right?
Oh, I know. I mean, the person we know is Faye Valentine. It's like how she became Faye Valentine.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly what you said. Two different things, or the same thing but two different ways.
Yeah. No, I absolutely loved it. Again, it shows you how we've arrived at this conclusion for her. Fuck them before they can fuck you. Mm-hmm. Nobody in this world is pure. Nobody in this world is, willing to just do the right thing because it's the right thing. Mm. So why bother? Always be in it for number one. And, and I think it's wild for it to be her going, oh, I got screwed because he died. The universe is cruel. To then, I got screwed because he isn't dead. And he did this on purpose. And he keeps doing it. And this is somebody who keeps taking advantage of people who are on the ropes. And I think it is also an opportunity for her to have to grapple with the fact that she has become nothing more than he has. Mm-hmm. Because, when we first meet Faye, she's in with this, casino pit boss guy. And, you get the vibe from her that she is not doing, this Robin Hood A-team bounty hunter stuff. If there's somebody she can fuck and get some money out of it, she's doing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whose life is getting ruined. It doesn't matter who she's, pulling the wool over. If there's money to be made, if there's even a little bit of an advantage she can take, she's taking it. And now she's no better than
drifts
and grifts. And, she maybe has ruined as many lives as the fake Prince Charming has.
Possibly,
somebody who is so caught up in a lifetime of lies and obfuscation and half truths that even he can't tell when he's telling the truth about something.
No.
And that's bleak. That's incredibly bleak and upsetting. So I really, really love that episode. I love that she got to have the last word on it. I love the amount of agency she got to have and how that story was told. Because that's its own potential pitfall. Is Faye's story is rooted in, again, that big, hyperhighway explosion, calamity, ruins her life. She's put in cryo. And then she wakes up. So like a thing happened to her, a thing happened to her, a thing happened to her, a thing happens to her. Are like, those are the four beats that like kind of build to that. And then the story then the rest of the story is fully centered on, and here are the choices that she makes onward. And I think that is crucial. And I think that is like very deft storytelling, to show that like, as many choices as one can make, there are elements of your background that will shape how you move through the universe. It's, look at the real world, conversations about crime and poverty. that, it is not necessarily, it's a lot of factors. It is not just, it's very little to do with, culture and race and ethnicity or anything like that. It's almost everything to do with poverty and how poverty breeds desperation, which breeds crime, which breeds more desperation. And it's this vicious cycle. And then, cultures and identities get caught up in that, but it's all born in people who at their core have had many of their choices and how they would want to move through the world ripped away from them. And then that gives birth and gives way to really shitty behavior.
Yeah. Now, I thought they said they didn't know why she was frozen.
You're right. I think that at one point they say it is that, but then it's also like, who knows?
I say when they first unfreeze it, they're like, yeah, there was a car accident, you're frozen.
Car accident, that's right, yeah.
And then when it comes face to face, the meeting again, it's, there's no record because records are lost or whatever. Whether the records were lost in the hyperspace stuff, which fair enough if it is, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but.
And I also watched the first 2 episodes several days ago at this point, so I also might be a little spotty.
I also have White Lotus on my head at the minute because I just finished that season, so neither of us in the best shape of them.
Yeah, sorry guys, sorry. But yeah, no, I did really love this episode, and I think it was a masterclass. Again, in like playing with just again agency as a theme in and of itself. I really appreciated it and enjoyed.
I was going to say something and I completely forgot.
There you go.
Completely forgot. Just went whoop, right out the window. So we're going to go on to Black Dog Serenade. Session 16.
This had the sauce.
It's a lot of jet development close together, though, which I always found interesting.
I do find it interesting as well. I think, hold on. I just had the actor's name in my mind and I lost it. Hold on.
Which actor?
The actor who I could see playing the assassin guy. Sterling K. Brown. Sterling K. Brown.
Yes.
If they ever took a second crack at a live action Bebop, get Sterling K. Brown to play that assassin guy.
I can see it. 100. Yeah.
That was, I thought of him immediately, and I couldn't think of his name earlier either. But yeah, no,
that's such a good choice for that character. God damn.
Thank you.
I don't think they actually even touched this in the show. I can't remember if they even touched on any of Jet's backstory. Fuck, it don't matter. Fuck that shit.
Either way, I thought it was really good. I think that like Jet has quickly become my favorite character because, I like.
He's had the most development.
He's had the most development. And like but there is something to say for, the tragedy of Faye Valentine, especially after her episode. Something to be said for somebody who is incredibly vain, who puts on the airs of being incredibly vain to hide the fact that I do think she is incredibly sincere. Again, it's why I think one of her best beats before My Funny Valentine was the way that she just fully shut down over the Julia stuff. Is that I do think she is incredibly empathetic, and I do think she is incredibly earnest. She just buries that under layer upon layer upon layer of vanity and selfishness that she is actively choosing to do to bury that kinder nature to her soul. Spike, again, who I like a lot as a character, as I've said, I think he's defined by I'm either going to run from my past or I'm going to shoot at it. I am not going to meaningfully engage in the ways I've been hurt and process any of that in a meaningful way. And I think that's what the end of the show is going to barrel towards. Because it feels like there has been a point of everybody has grown at this point but Spike Spiegel.
Mm.
Jet, I love archetypally as this like wandering anti-hero who, in the face of casual cruelty and selfishness, is continuing to do the right thing despite it not being the best decision for himself.
Yeah. Good way of putting it. Yeah.
And that is just an archetype I love, like Ionized Bastards. It's Fabian Martel. Like that is sauce that I will always double dip into, is that like, hey, the universe is cruel and evil, but if you make an active decision to be better, you will make it better. Radical acts of mercy will save all of us in the end. And we see that with Jet. We see that with, he does it with his ex, with Ganymede Waltz, where he chooses not to spare her or her boyfriend from facing justice, but he also enables them to have fair justice done unto them, which I think is powerful and beautiful in its own right. He's like, I do have to bring you in and stop you from escaping, but there's a way out of this for you that is very legal and frankly is very fair and adequate for the nature of the situation.
Also, probably your best choice.
Also, your best choice pragmatically, but like also, I don't think Jet, if the loan sharks weren't actively trying to attack them or kill them, and this guy just went, you know what, this guy's a loose end, I'm going to whack him. I don't think Jet would be like, you can do self-defense, and he would have shown this guy any mercy at all. Whatever. It goes to Jet making the choices he makes in Bohemian Rhapsody. Where it's like, I am going to choose my payment while we are very much on the ropes to show this guy mercy for me, even if it only bought that man an hour to live. And, Jet being put in this situation where he's like, I need to bring this guy to justice, not just for what he did to me, but because I know how dangerous he can be. And he is shown to be incredibly dangerous, this assassin gentleman. But in that moment where Jet finds out the truth that it was his partner that double-crossed him and blew his arm off, and Jet takes revenge, but he's also bringing a corrupt person who's abusing their power to justice. And he gives him dignity in his final moments. That is incredibly beautiful. There's a grace to that. I come from Star Wars land, so not every conflict, not every battle can be solved with, you failed, your highness, I am a Jedi like my father before me. Sometimes Darth Maul gets cut the fucking half.
Twice.
And he brought that on himself. And I think that there was a grace to that. To continue that Star Wars comparison, it felt like Obi-Wan killing Maul for real in Rebels.
Yeah. I can see it,
with that, Obi-Wan does not draw out that fight.
No.
He does not revel in the fact. He does not revel in the philosophical victory. They both know he's already won.
Yeah.
With the whole, if all the only power you have is, to destroy, then you have nothing. He does not draw the fight out. He ends it incredibly quickly. And he holds Maul in his final moments. And tries to let Maul have peace at the end. that is the kind of nobility and grace I love in characters. Like I said, radical acts of mercy in a very merciless world. You know, like,
shit,
and I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, Jet went in there and he was like, I got to stop these people. You know, and I don't think Jet is somebody who relishes in violence. I think that Jet but I think Jet does relish in knowing that he is bringing justice to an unjust society.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
You know, and there is again, I alluded to it earlier, you know, crime and poverty and, you know, what breeds what and you know, like that's a very big conversation that I don't think needs to like be very real world applied to every story about outlaws and lawmen. The more realistic those stories are, the more I think it warrants that critique and that real world lens being forced onto it, especially when stuff like your Law and Orders and whatever, like in and of themselves become part of like law enforcement culture and they start influencing each other, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's its own bag of cats. But like the people who were on this prison ship are depicted as bloodthirsty and incredibly violent, you know, unstable. And the most competent leader among them is themselves a notorious assassin who they're only more buttoned up because they treat murder like an art form. And does have I'm sure, a laundry list of kills to his name.
Definitely, yeah. I don't think you can be an assassin in this sort of setting and only have like one or two.
Yeah. So I again, Jet going in there, you know, like, yeah, he does not go in there with a soft hand. He does not go in there, you know, with some kind of high-minded Batman, Spider-Man, Daredevil. I'm going to go in there and save everybody while beating the shit out of them. No, he kills a lot of them. But there's no enjoyment there.
No.
It is the satisfaction of knowing I am saving people down the road. And it, you know, and again, and this is from somebody whose main profession is bring them in alive. Too, you know, like that is his game, is bring these people in alive. So yeah, just Jet's grace and nobility in this episode just I think fully cemented him as my favorite character in the show.
Do you think you can see some character regression coming for Jet?
Coming for Jet, or
after that, because of this, like some Jet going forward slightly regresses?
I think
he's obviously in this situation because of everything anyway, but to then find out it was actually your partner that you trusted doing it was also part of the reason why he left the police and did this and all whatever. Like, not that I'm trying to allude to anything in the slightest. I just think it's an interesting question.
No, I wouldn't be surprised by it. I think that character regression is part of character development. I think that expecting a character to develop linearly across their story is silly.
Yeah.
You know, obviously a linear progression of I've grown past this, I've come to believe this, I have grown into this. Is, you know, it's clean. It's, you know, like it's easily traceable. But like to go back to The Mandalorian, you know, which comes up a lot because I've been like, you know, like it's my other bounty hunter spacefaring show with a found family in it. You know, it's one of the things that I think was a sticking point for season 3 was people going, oh, Din's regressed as a character. And I'm like, Din's having a crisis of faith. Yes, he's regressing as a character. You know,
always makes me laugh when people think like fictional characters have to be like just a straight line constantly.
It's not real that's not how it works in the real world either.
Yeah.
You know, like there are a lot of people I know who like they grow past issue A and then all of a sudden issue B that was not a problem before, but like something that was like, it becomes a real big problem. because the balance shifted, and I could see that for Jet very easily. I could see. I don't know what that regression looks like.
No.
If there's less of that grace, if there's less of that mercy, if there's less of that nobility, then I could absolutely see it, and I think it would make him all the more compelling to have him, have that moment of I did the thing, but do I believe the thing?
Mm.
Again, going back to Star Wars, that's what that's why I disagree with why people say Finn has a backwards arc in The Last Jedi. Is that for Finn it was standing and fighting is a thing you have to do. And I did it to save my friend. And in The Last Jedi, he develops this understanding of it's bigger than me and my friends. I cannot look at a fight for liberation myopically. It's not just me, it's everybody. And sometimes people have to sacrifice, and sometimes the sacrifice is living on to fight another day. Because you, the individual, are important to the health of the collective, but you, the individual, do not supersede the collective. So, yeah, I could absolutely see that happening for Jet.
That's fair. I say again, not alluding to anything. Just,
I'm sure you're not.
I generally am not.
Mm-hmm.
No, generally. It was just a question that came up. Mainly because you started this show off with like, Jet's a bit meh. No, it's a bit of a nothing character. There's been nothing for Jet. And now Jet is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's just like, is there going to be some regression?
Maybe. Like I said, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see for sure. Again, it's just he's playing an archetype I gravitate towards right now. As much as I want to love the devil may care aspects of Spike, he lacks for me right now the ability to look at him and go, oh, this is it. He is defined by the absence of this is what makes you you. Because right now it's Julia and a checkered pass with the Red Dragon, and he either wants to run from it or shoot at it. And I am very much looking forward to him being forced to sit in a room with it and not have those options. There's no running, there's no shooting. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that's going to be us for the week.
It is.
We have only got 4 left. 4 episodes.
So 4 episodes.
Well,
there's 4 episodes of Pro and Noob.
Pro and Noob, yeah.
Okay, so 2 more 3-packs and then 2 2-packs.
2 2s, yeah. And then the big talk about it as a whole. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I'm excited to get to the end of this ride, You
should be. I'm fascinated to know what you're going to think. Fascinated. I almost jumped forward last night. I was like, no. Because as I said at the start of this, I haven't watched this one as much as others. So it gets a bit foggy and hazy. It's like, no, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to save the respect it deserves. Even though I know how it ends. Like, you can never forget how this ends, but it's just going to save that for the end. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do good stuff. Linktree's mainly blue sky for me, and obviously
yeah.
And Jarod, where?
Nerd Academy Podcast, like I said, and/or season 2 coverage. Wrapping up Daredevil. Star Wars Celebration will have come and gone by the time you're seeing this. So get caught up on the news. We'll be doing a full recap of that as well. Tales of the Underworld is about to be real busy in fucking Star Wars land. Which is okay, because with Daredevil wrapping up, that means I can just go full Star Wars for a little bit before Thunderbolts. Take a breath. especially as we're ramping up into the production of Avengers Doomsday, also with San Diego Comic-Con on the horizon. Ionized Bastards are about halfway through the final season. We're not sure how many more episodes there are going to be. We also know that recording is going to be a fucking nightmare because of Andor Season 2 and the release schedule and Celebration. So stay tuned for that. More stuff will be coming. It's just...
Eventually.
Yeah, I think we just got to figure out how we're going to manage Andor.
I have a fantastic idea how to manage it.
You're exhausting.
I didn't say anything. What do you think I was going to say?
Don't watch it.
I mean, not quite, but you got far off, to be fair.
Yeah, I figured.
I was going to say don't manage it by don't managing it. Simple as that.
Potato. But yeah, that, and then I have my singles match with Scotty Holiday and Epic Confrontations. It has been recorded. It has happened. We are just waiting for people to get back from Star Wars Celebration to record some cutscenes. So stay tuned for that over on the Star Wars in a Galaxy YouTube channel.
So I'll have to wait to see the L.
Who knows what you're going to see?
I need that download link.
Let's take it up with Eli. Talk to the kid.
He ain't going to give me no down link. Okay.
So,
and I don't want you to tell me either. I want to see I actually want to see it unfold.
No, it is. I will say this: it is a great match. It is a great match. Lots of good gamesmanship. I will say there are some elements where, people have said that I take Epic Confrontations too seriously. And I was delighted to see Scotty Holiday. They came into that match and very much was like, I know this about Jarod. I know this about Jarod, and I need to build my strategy around how I know he plays. And I very much appreciated somebody else going into a match without just blunt force trauma. So,
I mean, you're answering questions. How else can you really do it?
I mean, listen, they came in and they said, I know you're good with the general movie stuff. I know that you're good with the Mandoverse. I know that you're good with the Clone Wars. I know that you're good with the video games. But I also know these categories are weak spots for you. So if I can capitalize on this, they came in talking about game tape. They came in talking about how before the recording, they were watching my other matches.
Oh, wow.
And that there, I have a huge level of respect for that. Where we got people watching game tape, we got people training, and if you're going to come for me, you got to come correct.
You could do it half-heartedly, I imagine.
Both
Scotty and Alden do it, Jarod. Don't tell me it's not a way to beat you.
Scotty and Alden prepare for me, and I can tell you that for a fact.
I mean, maybe a bit of therapy. No, not this fucking guy again.
I'm not going anywhere for them. Listen.
Didn't you go to Scotty's for him?
For his wedding, and then we had a live match, which is the best Epic Confrontations match of all time.
You still went somewhere to them?
Listen, out of kayfabe, I love them like brothers. In kayfabe, they will have to fucking kill me in the real world for me to stop trying to supplant them both.
Bless your little cottons.
But yeah.
Watch it.
What's
up the channel for that again?
For Epic Confrontations?
Yes, In a Galaxy, right?
It's on the Star Wars in a Galaxy YouTube channel. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah. FYI is every time I search it, Google don't like bringing it up.
It doesn't. You gotta type in a Galaxy Epic Confrontations trivia. You have to type in all of those, and then it will start showing it to you, and then it will remember, and then you can just get away with Epic Confrontations.
Eli, change the name, I beg. Just like, yes, you get the SEO, you know, but like TNAP, change the name. Just tweak it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But yeah.
We'll catch you next time. So we'll see you, Space Cowboy.
See ya, Space Cowboy.
Bum 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 bum.